Welcome to episode 1 of Property Management Q&A with Sam Price from Templeton Property. This week's question is, what is the difference between a fixed term tenancy, a fixed term lease, and a periodic lease? So this is quite a common question we get asked. I heard it being asked once or twice today already by owners and tenants alike. So in Queensland there's two types of leases. There's a fixed term lease, fixed term general tenancy agreement, or a periodic lease. Both have benefits dependent on the desires of both the tenant and the owners. So it's important to understand the intricacies of both so you can make the right decision on whether you choose to have your tenants or you choose to sign a fixed term lease or a periodic lease. Fixed term lease, first of all, as the name suggests, is a lease for a fixed period of time, so it has a definite start date and a definite end date. This allows the tenant to have surety of tenure for that period. They have a home that they can't be moved out of, and even if the property is sold, they are allowed to reside there till the end of the lease or the end of the contract. It's the most common in Queensland and indeed Australia. This gives a lot of security to the tenants, of course, for tenure, as well as the owner, that they have a regular income during that period. There's no changing of tenants during that period, no wear and tear with changing of occupants and so forth. A periodic lease, the difference being, whilst it does have a definite start date, like the fixed term tenancy, there's no end date, so it's just open. There's no physical end date written into the lease. This gives a lot of flexibility to both the tenant and the owner. Cases where it's most popular is if a property is for sale, the owner might choose to keep the tenants on a periodic lease so that they're not tied in with a long-term lease in case they sell it to an owner-occupier, that it hasn't got 8 or 12 months lease in place that can't be 7 unless upon mutual agreement. So it allows them to market the property more widely, and also if the property's been developed. We have 2 properties currently on our portfolio which are periodic leases. One we inherited from another agency whereby the tenant and the owner came to a mutual agreement or understanding that it would be a periodic lease. That's been that way for quite a long time. And there's another property that's currently for sale, has been for some time, with another agency, and it's also went through a development approval, a building approval and so forth. So the owner wanted to keep the options open with regards to selling the property. The tenants were happy with that. They've been there for another 6 months since while it's been on periodic lease, and everyone's happy. We recommend, however, to most owners that they do put people or put tenants on a fixed term tenancy. Most tenants also like a fixed term tenancy as well, which makes a lot of sense. One of the big drawbacks of a periodic lease is that it can jeopardise your landlord insurance. So that's really important that we coach our owners as to the positives and negatives for both types of leases. And as I said, we only have 2 properties on periodic, and I think that's a good number in that it should be a very small percentage of the portfolio that is actually on a periodic lease for the betterment of the owner and indeed the tenant as well. Now the big thing with periodic tenancies and fixed term tenancies, one of the most important things other than the land insurance and the security of tenure is the notice periods required from either party to end the lease. As we know with a fixed term lease or indeed a periodic lease, the owner is required to give 2 months notice to the tenants that the lease isn't being renewed or that the periodic lease is indeed coming to an end. 2 months in writing on the appropriate form. A notice to leave form. With regards to a tenant on a periodic lease or indeed fixed term lease, they're only required to give 2 weeks notice to the owner. So we're in the marketing game here. We're in rental marketing. Therefore, if we have a tenant advise us through the owner that we've got 2 weeks, in 2 weeks we have a property becoming vacant, that can cause issues. In a normal period for marketing, we like 4 weeks at least, 4 Saturdays prior to the property becoming available to market the property. In this market, we're actually doing for 5 weeks, 5 full Saturdays to market a property before it becomes available, which we find is required for some properties in this current market we're in. 2 weeks notice doesn't give us much time at all. So we jeopardise, or the owner jeopardises having the property vacant for a period of time. So that's a reason. Another reason why fixed term is the way to go, unless there's really strong reasons why it's best for both parties. I mentioned landlord insurance, that was the other big one. I think that's covered the basic ins and outs of the fixed term lease and a periodic lease. If you've got any other questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call or email me at any time. Or if you have any other questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. We'll be doing this quite regularly from now on, which is great. So thank you for listening. My name's Sam Price from Templeton Property. We're Brisbane's favourite property managers and buyers agents. Thank you.